Like a lot of people, Greek mythology has always fascinated me. So when I was designing a persona, I knew I wanted to incorporate it in some way. Greek myths have a wide array of fictitious creatures, a lot of them having major myths associated with them. Famously, Medusa, who was a Gorgon and was slain by Perseus, or Chiron, trainer of heroes, including Achilles, who was a centaur, or Polyphemus, the Cyclops, who was blinded by Odysseus in the Odyssey. But there are also a lot of creatures that played more minor roles in myth. And warning, some of these are really cursed. Harpies, for example. They were human, woman, bird hybrids. And similar to harpies were sirens. Not that siren, that's a mermaid. This is a siren. They look really freaky. For some reason, Odysseus was foaming at the mouth for these things. We'll never know why. Among these minor creatures were satyrs, who were half goat and half human. Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? Welcome to the channel. Today I will be giving you some commentary while you watch a speed paint of a fully rendered drawing of the persona that I knew I had to make right after I designed her because I loved her so much. I hope you didn't mind my little history rant. More is coming. I'm going to discuss the origin of satyrs in Greek mythology. I just love talking about these kind of myth things. It's just so fascinating. I love researching it. It was really fun to research this video. But yeah, as you can see, I chose a satyr as a persona design, and I'm going to get into a little bit of why, but first I wanted to talk about the origins of satyrs, like I said. So satyrs have a top half that is human, a bottom half that is goat. Thank God. If it was the other way around, that would be horrible. I don't want to see that. You probably recognize some satyrs like Grover from Percy Jackson, the book, the movie, the show, and Mr. Tumnus from Narnia, who is played by the wonderful James McAvoy. Guys, you don't want to see my edits folder on TikTok. Like, it's not. it's a lot. Anyways, satyrs are also known as fauns in Roman mythology, but they're basically the same thing because the Romans just stole all the same stuff from Greece and renamed it because they want to be different so bad. As far as the origins of satyrs in folklore, Greek myth is one of the earliest known sources of their appearance. Satyrs are forest-dwelling nature spirits with a deep connection to the wilderness, which my mom would say is ironic because I don't like going outside, but whatever. They are often seen as companions of Dionysus, who is the god of wine, drunkenness, and partying, overall not the guy you would pick to be your designated driver. His cult and rituals remain a source of mystery to this day, which, yeah, he sounds like a cult leader. I would join that cult, probably. Satyrs are most often depicted as Dionysus's entourage, representing the untamed aspects of nature and the power of intoxication and music. They were often featured in what was called satyr plays, or a form of comedic dramas that really contrasted the tragic plays of the time. They were full of crude humor and satire, which personally that sounds a lot more interesting than whatever Euripides was cooking up. Satyrs are also notorious for being tricksters. They are often involved in lewd behavior, theft, and have the tendency to pick fights. For example, in the myth of Marsyas, it tells of a probably really drunk satyr who thought it would be a smart idea to challenge Apollo, who is the literal god of music, to a musical contest. Yeah, you can guess how it ended. Spoiler, he got his shit rocked. But satyrs aren't always lewd and deviant. Despite their rowdy nature, there are some satyrs who were seen as wise teacher figures, like Silenus, who had the gift of prophecy, and he also tutored Dionysus. I don't know what he tutored him in. I'm guessing Dionysus was not a great student. I don't know. Anyways, you can't really talk about satyrs without talking about the satyr. I consider him one of the biggest freaks in Greek mythology, Pan, who was the Greek god of the wild, shepherd, flocks, and nature. Pan was a lot of the times depicted as a satyr. And in mythology, he's most often a son of Hermes, the messenger god, but some versions vary. Pan embodies the untamed and carefree spirit of nature, which I'll get into the weirdo creep stuff he did, but I don't know, not an excuse for his actions. Jeez, I'm carefree, I'm wild. No, you're a freak and a pervert. He invented panpipes, makes sense, right? And he called them syrinx, I don't know, after a nymph he fell in love with. He fell in love with her. It was not reciprocated. She transformed into reeds just to escape him. So he named it after her to keep her memory alive. Not romantic, that's creepy. Leave her alone, you're a freak. Adding to his list of great things he's done, he caused sudden irrational fear in isolated places, which is why that sensation is called panic. Thanks, Pan. Does it make you happy? Does it make you happy that me and a million others of people are diagnosed with panic disorder, you sick freak? Does that make you happy? Anyways, sorry. Pan was a lot different from all the other Olympian gods because of his deep association with rural and pastoral regions of Greece. He was mostly known to be worshipped in rustic ceremonies that involved a lot of music and dance and outdoor festivities. But overall, he's just a weirdo freak. Pan, please seek help. What's going on with that? Now, I could get into all the, patriarchal stereotypes that have persisted because of Greek mythology, and it's just a lot. That's for another time. When I chose a satyr as a persona, I didn't know that they were kind of notorious for being freaks, but whatever, they look cool. So that's my satyr's not a freak. She's cool, all right? She's chill. Okay, thanks for listening to the little history rant. Now I'm going to talk more about the speed paint itself. So this piece, according to Procreate, took me around 9.5 hours to complete. It was honestly so fun. I was really inspired by folk music and art, and I spent a lot of time staring at uncanny, cursed medieval drawings that revisited me in my nightmares. Look at them. Medieval people, what were you on? What compelled you to make stuff like this? Please seek help. As far as how I came up with my persona design, I don't really have an exact explanation. I watched a lot of videos on how people develop theirs, and I didn't really take anything away from it. I just opened my sketchbook and was like, yeah, this feels right. My first Sona design was initially a knight, but I found myself losing interest in that drawing and that design, and I started to get really bored. Which, that is something I will say. A persona represents you, and you'll probably draw them a lot, or you should want to draw them a lot. So you should enjoy drawing that character. So when I got bored of my knight, despite my deep fascination with Joan of Arc, I started to think of other designs. A lot of thanks to Pinterest for all the inspiration. Pinterest is my holy grail. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It's my happy place. I was born in the right era because I don't want to live in a world where Pinterest doesn't exist. Because I knew Greek mythology had to factor into my persona in order for me to be happy and satisfied, I looked through a lot of mythical creatures and was like, which ones feel cool? Which one do I want to be? Also, pretty much all of my major characters, their story is based in ancient Greece, so it felt fitting that if I would make stuff about my characters, then my persona should kind of match that vibe too. I don't know, that's the thought process in my head. I did want to bring in a more folky vibe though. That's what inspired her color palette and the earth tones and warm colors. Deviating from the canon, I gave her a corset. I just love corsets. I think they're flattering. I love drawing them. They're fun. It's obviously not accurate to Greek mythology, but I don't care. I like it. I can do what I want. This is my little universe, and I get the final say. Welcome to my mind palace.
Get out.
What?
Get out, I need to go to my mind palace.
Sketch, line art, flat colors, and then just doing whatever I can to make it look good. People always talk about how therapeutic drawing is, which I agree to a degree. It's super calming to create until the moment you realize you've been staring at the same spot on the canvas for 45 minutes, and you're slowly questioning life choices. No, I don't want to diss drawing because it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it. Obviously, I'm making a video about it. But as I'm finishing up the piece, I just want to say that I am really happy with how it came out. I can't say that often, unfortunately, but for this one, I don't know. Just the process made me happy. So the piece made me happy, and it was looking rough for a while, but I ended up really liking it. So yeah, here is the finished piece. What's the meaning behind it? I couldn't tell you. It felt right. Like the pose I found from a sketch by user Nova Luna on DeviantArt. I don't know, maybe it represents like deep aspects of myself. Or maybe it's just a drawing I did mostly at 3 a.m. Either way, enjoy.